Welcome to another episode of the Popko Project Podcast, and I'm joined today by my man, Dustin Douglas, guitarist, lead vocalist of the blues rock band, Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman. What's up, brother?
Good to see you, man.
I know it's been a
Um,
minute.
yeah, I feel like it's been a minute. I feel like it's been a lot longer than usual, but life has a way of doing that, man. So,
Yeah, and
but it's
you're
great
like
to see you.
you're doing like this little media tour. I see you online all the time.
Yeah, it's
And
doing the press, the record
for yeah, what
cycle,
for? What for? What are you doing?
Well, the our new record four came out a couple weeks ago, so we're super excited about it. It's definitely a next level for us, and yeah, just spreading the word as much as possible about it. Thanks for having me on, man.
Absolutely. I love the chance of talking to you and talking about the new record. This is the follow up to 2023's Black Leather Blues. Is that the title?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
So we're 2 years removed from our last podcast episode together. I think that was like April
yeah.
of 2023.
Right.
Hard to believe.
All
A lot
right,
has
right.
happened since then.
Time flies, man.
A lot has happened. Yeah. So I mean, I want to get right into the what's going on now. I mean, a lot of podcasts that what did they talk about, how your history and how you started and all that kind of stuff, which is great, right? But I tend to think that maybe people only tune into this for 1 minute. So we have one
Sure.
minute to talk about the record.
Right.
How fast can you go?
We could go. I've had a lot of practice.
Well, the new album says four.
Yeah.
Um, talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, it's our fourth record. We really thought outside the box for that title.
Hey,
Um,
it's all good.
yeah, it's kind of an homage to like Zeppelin 4, and
Sure.
it's like but yeah, I knew coming out of Black Leather Blues that I wanted to get a record out relatively quick, and we had great successes with that last record, and it definitely took us to another level. So you want to kind of strike while the iron's hot, especially in this day and age, because everything moves so fast, and things because of that, things or people or bands or get forgotten about as fast because of that. So yeah, we started writing this new batch of tunes, and headed into the studio like last winter, recorded it over the course of a couple months, and we really couldn't be happier with it. We went back to 8 days a week studios, where we recorded the last one, but we had Nick Coyle mix and master it, and myself and Paul Smith produced it, and it's 9 songs. It's like 35, 36 minutes, and it's the most natural record we've done, I feel like. Um, I think we all feel it's like kind of just all very it's some records you have to go back and learn things, and like go back and like this is all these songs fit into the set perfectly. They all feel like home. They all feel like they've been around. So yeah, man, I'm super, super proud of it. And just the feedback and the numbers and the listens has been just more than I could ask for.
That's great. Yeah, the lead track, Long Gone. I mean, what a perfect lead track for this album. I mean, that sets the tone. It really
Nice,
does.
nice. Yeah. Um, it's yeah, it's badass. I love that riff. I love that song.
Yeah.
Playing it live is really cool. It's kind of got this southern rock, this heavy southern rock vibe to it, which is something that, we've always had our toes in, but yeah, we just went for it on that one. That's definitely that one was written with kind of like playing it live in mind.
Mhm.
We've been opening our set with that now, and
That's a great idea.
yeah, yeah, it works really well. I really love that song.
Now, I mean, how would you say this record's different from the last one? I mean, in my opinion, I just feel like it's very much the same, but it's also different. And I don't know how to explain it's different. Maybe it's more rock
Yeah.
influenced.
Yeah, I mean, I think we are definitely, we're categorized as blues rock, but anybody who knows me knows I'm just like a rock and roll guy, and I'm definitely influenced by the blues, but you get categorized and put into these boxes by the industry and by, you know, so it is what it is. But yeah, it's definitely just a straightforward rock and roll record. So we meld. I mean, this is who we are. This is who I have always been. So it's just kind of. I feel like this record's just really honest, and it is like a real display of who we are as a band. Um, we took some chances. Like the last track on the record, "Missing You," is it's like almost 7 minutes. We never really had a tune that was like stretched out. We're always writing songs for I'm always writing songs with, this radio time in mind, but like, I don't know why. It's not like we get played on the radio anyway.
That's not
So,
true. That's
but
not
but
true. Not true.
but but there's also that's not true, and I'm so thankful for all the airplay we get. But you know, uh, I feel things are kind of different now too. You have band like that like new Sleep Token song is long, and you can get away with a lot more. I feel like these days, and but yeah, it's so we stretched out and we took some chances, and I didn't really. This is the first record where I didn't really like censor myself musically or creatively, and in retrospect now it kind of just feels I just keep going back to the word just natural. It just feels like a knee jerk reaction to how we all create music and melody. So it's very pure
Yeah.
who we are.
And you mentioned honesty a few minutes ago. There's a track on the album. If you don't want to elaborate on it, you don't have to, but I hope you will. Drunk and Alone, according to your Facebook
Yeah,
page, you said is very personal for you and that you were reluctant to share it. Um, and you wrote it in a dark place, which when I read that, I was like, man, I've known you for a long time
very long time.
and a very long time. And every time I've ever seen you, it's always with a great big smile. So
Sure.
I was shocked um, to find that out.
Yeah, I mean it's not anything major. I mean I changed up my lifestyle about 2 years ago. Just just because I feel like I needed a change. So I haven't had a drink in like 2 years, which is wild to me. It was
Yeah.
like 2 years, like last week. But yeah, I mean, I remember writing that song. I think it was like I remember just sitting on the couch, and I just it just kind of poured out of me. And what's weird is that song still, when we play it live, I feel like it's not my own. I feel like I'm playing a cover, which is a weird thing to explain, but I play it and I feel like I'm playing a song that somebody else wrote. And in a way, it kind of was somebody else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love that. I love that song. I think it's one of the best songs that I ever have, I ever penned down. Um, but yeah, it's cool. And I think in some way or another, we a lot of people can relate to that track,
Hmm.
you know, um, because we all do dumb things when we're young and partying, and in some way or another, we've all kind of been drunk and alone, quote unquote, you know. So yeah, it was personal, but I'm I almost didn't put it on the record because I was like, man, this doesn't, it's a little bit different. It's more of like this Tom Petty feel, which, I write a lot of songs that are like that, but it doesn't necessarily always like fit with the riff stuff. But I'm like, let's do this. Let's put this on the record. And man, I'm quite happy I did. Not only did I put on the record, but it became the third single. So
Hmm.
yeah, the rest is history, man.
Well, good for you for quitting drinking.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I think
who would
about
have
it all the
thought?
time. I think about it all the time. I always say
Yeah,
I'm gonna stop, right? Like, I mean, not that I ever had a problem. So
nah, me neither.
it's kind of like one of those things. It's like kind of point. It's like there's no point to it in some aspects. But then I
Right.
go to work all day and I come home with to two kids, and it's like not today.
Nah, hey, listen, I ain't preaching it. I got real good at it. I got real good at it. And yeah, man, I just wanted to see what it was like without it. And then, a couple months turned into a year and a year turned into two. And then you look at like what you accomplished, and how you feel. And yeah, man, it's not for anybody. I ain't the preacher guy.
Sure,
I
of
mean,
course.
you know
I'm
me
not.
better than that.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I'm not saying.
You
I'm not saying you are. Just
nah, man, you know me better than that.
yeah,
Anybody can do whatever the hell they want to do around me, and I'm all about it. But
yeah.
yeah, bro. I mean, I have quite the addictive personality. So if one is cool, then 30,000's cooler. you know?
Fair enough. How do you think that plays into your life, whether it's personal or this new record? I mean, was you just kind of come into it with a clear mind? And I mean, obviously, like when you poison yourself, right? Because that's essentially what you're doing.
Sure.
It can affect obviously your brain and how it works. But like, did that play into this new record?
I mean, it's wild to think, but I mean, this is the first record I mean, aside from records I put out when I was like 16,
Yeah,
but I mean, this is like the first time I made a record sober in a very long time. Um, and it's strange because like I love all my other records, like there's no doubt about it. The last record really set the bar pretty high for us. It was a big record, and going into this record, it was like, wow, so we have to quote unquote top this record. And
hmm,
as a songwriter, that could get into your head. And um, fortunately, I'm just like kind of, even my like manager was joking around, like, how the heck are you gonna top that last record? And in true B fashion, I was like, you just wait and see. And then I'd go home and be like, how am I gonna top this record?
no pressure.
But you can't get yourself into that mindset. But yeah, it was weird. It was the creative process, the clarity was refreshing. Where I did notice it is like the stressors that come like when you're done with the record and you're starting to meet deadlines and you're starting to like raw dogging those life situations was a new thing for me. Um, but man, I made it out. I made it out, of
Yeah,
course, and it's like I'm that much better for it. And yeah, it's all cool. Every record is quite the journey from the inception to the to as soon as it's released, it's no longer yours anymore.
that's weird, isn't it?
It is weird. Um, yeah, because I mean, I'll tell you what I did this time around though is like I'm usually pretty um secretive with the new songs and having people hear stuff, but this time, I think I read an article or I was listening to a podcast or something, and they're like, man, play it for everybody, even if it's before it's released. Or I was sending tracks to certain people, and I don't know why I've always been close knit. I think maybe because the records are so personal to me, and it's kind of like your baby, and then the training wheels are on, and then eventually you take them off, and it's like So like this time around, it was kind of like, yeah, like who cares? It's people. I mean, in this day and age, you give away half the record before the record's out anyway.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's kind of the norm. That's kind of the norm. You know. So, we're just navigating the waters of the record industry, and yeah, I mean, I love making records, man. I did a podcast yesterday, and I thought about it. I was like, man, I've been making records for so many years now, and I can't tell you why. It was just like, um, I mean, my first record, I think I was like 16 years old or something. So it's crazy that I'm just 22 now.
You look old as shit for
But
22.
yeah, you lived a hard ass life. But yeah, and I just always felt like that's just what you do.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from. Nobody was like, "Hey, you got to make a record." I just like every couple of years for my entire life, I put out a record, and it's just in a way that's kind of very destiny because like again, like nobody was like my parents or anybody, or I didn't have a child manager or anything to be like, "Hey, you got to put out a record." It was like, I don't know, that's just what you do.
But that's how we
I
grew
guess.
up, though. Yeah. I mean, that's how we grew up. I mean, our favorite artists would, take 2 years to release a new
Yeah,
record.
right. I mean, and just like so I don't plan on stopping putting out records anytime soon.
Yeah. Good.
I'm gonna relax for a little bit though and enjoy this one before I start thinking about a next one, I suppose.
Well, yeah, but you really haven't been relaxing. I mean, I saw you were just in Kentucky recently.
Yeah, we did a great festival out there called the WC Handy Festival. Um, it's we were down south that way is really good to us. Kentucky, we're headed back to headline a festival in Elkhart, Indiana at the end of the year, at the end of the summer, I'm sorry. And so yeah, we've been spending a lot of time down there in Kentucky, Indiana area. I mean, you got to service the markets that want to be serviced. So yeah, the branching out is really cool, and it's kind of just the beginning of what's about to come. So careful what you wish for, as I say.
Well, you guys, I always say that you guys are like some of the hardest working musicians that I know. Constantly playing shows. I mean, are these shows kind of like the furthest you guys have been kind of traveling as a unit, or have you guys
Um,
been
yeah, I mean, I think with this band, I mean, we've all done other things individually
right?
before this band. I think this band's been together now about 11 years,
11 years is crazy.
um, give or take. Oh, I know, right? But man, I mean, we've done a lot in 11 years. 4 records, 1 EP. Um, yeah, it's wild to think about what we've done, and I'm not one to really, although I'm getting better at it. Like, I've always been one to kind of uh, constantly focusing on what's next. But and that's a cool, if you in a driven sort of way. But
Right.
it's also nice to kind of like relish in like your accomplishments. But I mean, you don't want it to. You got to find toe that line where you don't want to. You don't. Oh well, maybe I could slow down. It's like, well, there's no slowing down. I wish there was, but like I've heard people say, it's like, people think that like getting a record deal or something is the end of the road, when realistically it's like the beginning.
Hmm.
Or you hear a musician say it's like sadly it's like becoming popular or becoming um yeah, like becoming a popular artist or is the easy part. The hard part is sustaining it, because the faster you rise, the faster you fall.
Yeah.
So you gotta watch that kind of thing.
Yeah, and I just saw you were on a podcast with Brett Alexander of the Badleys fame. He has a
Yeah.
podcast, which is great. I was excited when he, kind of announced he was doing that. Super well done. Shot professionally, sounds amazing.
Hmm.
Um, and you guys were talking about like, and that podcast is called the Real Gig Podcast. Um, you know, I found it interesting when you guys were talking about like, you're very talented, right?
Well,
As a
thank you.
musician and all that. Like, you've been at this for a long time, and you probably hear a lot that, oh, you should go to Nashville, you should do this, you should do that. And what you said was, you don't want to leave NAPA or PA in general. Like, this is your home. This is,
Sure.
and we're close to, cities like New York and Philly. Like, how important is this area to you? Because, like I said, like I'm sure you hear a lot, like, oh, you should be in this place, XYZ, but you're like, no,
Hmm.
man, this is home.
I mean, I've heard it my entire life. I mean, so much so that it gave me a complex. I think I talked about it in that podcast with Brett. And I mean, not until recently, I think within the last couple of years, I kind of just, I did just probably just getting older and getting wiser and also probably just getting more tired and, and, and more short fuse of bullshit. But, yeah, I mean, it gave me a complex for many, many years where I felt like it was, um, unless you got to a bigger city or unless you did that thing that you were less of a success. You know what I mean? Or, I mean, realistically, where everything's at right now, it doesn't matter where you live. Like I play a lot of different cities and about to play a lot more. So like where does it matter where you live? You know what I mean? Um, because you're working elsewhere. I had a good friend. He was my manager for years. Um, with the Badleys, and I still talk to him. And he said to me, like his office, he has like a Los Angeles clock time and a New York time and he works in all these different places from mountaintop, PA, and it's like, what does it matter? But again, as a young kid, it was like unless I moved to LA or moved to Nashville, it's like I have a pretty great family and I have a pretty great friend group, and we have a pretty cool thing, and why? I mean, why? What's the big deal? I mean, I've I've spent 11 years building this band. You know what I mean? What am I gonna do? Move and go start somewhere else from
Right,
zero? What's the benefit of that? So I
right.
could tell people that I live in. Now, listen, I have friends that moved and have great successes.
Mhm.
Great successes, and they deserve every ounce of it. Um, whether they're guitar techs living in Nashville or my buddy Mike killing it in Nashville or um, yeah, dude. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like talent is going to is going to thrive no matter where the hell you're at. You
Right.
know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Um, so that's my thoughts on that. I mean, say go back to your question of how important it is around here. Like, yeah, man. I mean, the music scene around here it always has its ebb and flow of up and down. I had a conversation the other day. It's like I feel for some reason in this small town, I feel like there's like a competitive nature that is unnecessary in like the local music scene. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But when I was younger, I kind of had a little bit of that too, where it was like, even just like growing up playing sports, everything is like this competition, like whether, but like, I think if one band succeeds out of a scene, then the door's open for every band.
Hmm.
And then you also see bands that are competing Like, why compete with a band that's not even in your same market or same genre? You know, you're not fighting for the same radio play or the same festival. Like, that's the only downside I see sometimes with this scene. But, people will eventually grow out of that because
Yeah.
it's you're fighting over nickels. And like, why are you really doing it? I
Yeah.
mean, I would do this no matter what. You know
Yeah.
me, you've known me forever, and you've known me. I've just been the guy with the guitar forever, you know.
I
I
first
would
met
do
you
it.
with a guitar at it was probably Bennigan's.
Yeah, dude, like what the hell was I doing with a guitar in Bennigan's?
At like
Table for
17 years
two,
old. Yeah.
table for two.
At like what, 17 years old? 18 years old?
Yeah, man. I mean, it was from grade school. It's like, I think the way that the industry is right now is like, if the one positive thing is like it definitely weeds out people that aren't in it for the right reason,
Right.
because there's not $1 million advances, and there's not massive amounts of records being sold, and it's like you have to grind and play a lot of shows and tour, and you know um fund your own records and fund your own PR, and it's like, unless you really want to do it, man, it certainly isn't glamorous,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like, this is my life, and I love every second of it, man.
Yeah. And
You
people probably, I mean, you talked about success before. People probably think, oh, to be successful or to feel successful, you need to have the record deal or whatever it is. Like, what does success look like for you?
Man, I mean, that question, I definitely, I'm sure if somebody went back to every interview we did, and if you asked me that same question, it would probably be different, you know? But like right now, it's like, to be able to make a living doing what I love and playing music, I think that's a huge success. To have thousands of people stream your music in like crazy amounts of countries, that's a success, you know? Over the last couple of years, that answer changed for me, because it's not what young Dustin would thought success is,
Right.
So it's like, it changes as you get older and you get a little bit wiser. But yeah, and that same complex, like people ask me like, um, why aren't you bigger? I don't know. You tell me, man.
Yeah.
I always are like, why aren't you famous? I'm not, now it's like, I've heard that so many times. I'm like, I am. I respond like, I just have to be, unfortunately, I think I've gotten asked that question at the wrong time. And I've probably been a little snippy because this is the fourth time I was asked that question. That may be the only bad paparazzi moment that would be out there for
Right.
me. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, man, I think if it boils down and it all ended tomorrow, man, you just want to be proud of the body of work that you put out. And
Hmm.
if you gotta love singing your songs, man. And that's a success. It's not money and fame. And yeah, that's all cool.
Sure.
But that also comes with a bunch of bullshit that
Hmm.
nobody really wants either. I have a beautiful house, I have a beautiful wife, I have a beautiful life, I have cool things, and like, well, man, I don't know if it all ended tomorrow. I'm pretty happy,
Right.
like really happy.
Yeah.
But it took me 39 years to get there. Because 29-year old Dustin would not answer the question the same way, and I'm sure you could agree.
Well, it's hard, and it comes like you said with age and maturity and kind of realizing what's important versus like, of course, when you're 21, you're like, yeah, success to me is a major record label and
Hmm.
the fancy cars and they always say that stuff doesn't buy happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness. So it's like you get older and it's like, you know what? Like you said, great house, beautiful wife. Like, I mean,
Yeah, man.
how many people don't have that?
Dude, it's wild. And I mean, I'm and I'm still guilty of it. And my wife bitches at me too because I always want something
You
more,
want more,
or
but
I always,
it's
but that's like I always want something better, or it's like I want, but it's like again going back to like you have to like kind of relish in what you have, and you kind of got to look like what would 20-year-old Popko say about Popko now? He'd be pretty proud of him. Like I don't know if I ever dreamed as a kid of the things that I have done.
yeah,
I'm doing what I thought, that I wanted to do as a kid.
yeah,
So it's like, but yeah, man, you can have $1 million. You know what you're gonna want? You're gonna want $2 million.
exactly. I always
It's like, what do what does it matter?
yeah, you got to step back sometimes because but I think people who want more, it's a good thing, right? You don't want to be stagnant and just kind of status quo and kind of go with the
Totally.
flow.
You know what? I mean, we've heard all the quotes and seen all the posts and the motivational quotes where like, complacency is like where dreams go to die and stuff. And
Right.
like, I get that. Um, but if you take that um and use it as drive, there's a healthy way to do it.
Yeah.
But I can only say that because I spent a lot of years doing the unhealthy way of just what's next, more, more,
Yeah.
more, more, more. It's like, it's like anything else. You sell out a club, you want to sell out a theater. You sell out a theater, you want to sell out an arena. You sell out an arena, you want to sell out a stadium. You sell out a stadium, you want to sell out the moon. I don't know. It's like, but the wise, Dustin, now is like the fun is in that journey.
Yeah.
You know, I would black out that whole time just worrying about what was next. And then when I got to what's next, I would like awake and then black out again. And so it's like, but like in between those, man, like that's the fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
dude. I mean, it's a heavy conversation. It's a heavy conversation, but it's like it's so important because I think anybody goes through it, no matter what they do, whether they're a doctor or a lawyer or a car salesman or anything,
mhm.
anything that anybody does that they're passionate about, whether you're a painter or a podcaster or a radio dude or anything, an author. It's like at the end of the day, I mean, I'm unique because I get to my passion and my hobby is also my job, you
Mhm.
know, and not everybody's fortunate enough to do that.
Yeah.
So that alone is success, you know.
And with that all being said, what kind of I always I talk to a lot of musicians, obviously artists, authors, you name it. And what's cool about what you guys do is you create something that will last literally forever, like far longer than we will, right? Um, you know, when you think about maybe as we get older and you think about the legacy that you leave behind, what do you think that kind of looks like?
I mean, my first instinct, like the first thing that my brain wanted to say to you is, I don't care. But I do.
Sure.
I do. But like, you can't spend your time just thinking about that.
Hmm.
But I mean, I think if you're true to yourself and you're true to your art, then your legacy, that will be your legacy. Um, if you're putting out art, no matter what form, because you think that's what's popular, or you're putting out art because you think that's what's supposed to do, that's like a fraudulent legacy. It's a fraudulent legacy. You know, I, my dad said to me a couple of days ago, he's like, man, I think I said this in maybe a couple other interviews I did, but it like really stuck with me recently. He was just like, man, he's like, dude, if it all ended tomorrow, man, you did really good. And I was like, well, thanks, Dad. I appreciate that, because um, again, sometimes you got to stop and smell the roses.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, legacy. It's like I've done enough stuff now. It's like, um, I don't know, man. I don't know what my legacy will be, and it's like it's hard for me to even fathom that because I have so much more that I want to do.
Right.
It's a great question. Um,
Well, think about it.
it, yeah, it's a great question. Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, and I think, fortunately, I think my music will, and I think the music that I make kind of like is timeless. You know what I mean? It's just like that's the thing with our genre. It's just like rock and roll. You
Hmm.
know, it's not current hip pop music or a hip genre that's,
It's not a
it's
fad.
just like I'm just making. Yeah, man, it's like it's weird. It's like this. I mean, you've known me for a long time. Like I've played this kind of music forever, and like right now there's kind of a resurgence of it with
Hmm.
all these awesome bands that are like, these Zeppelin influence, and it's funny because like they say if you just wait long enough. I mean, I don't know if you've been shopping lately, but like JNCOs are back. You know what I mean? So it's like if you just wait long enough.
Yeah, it'll
I
come
said,
back.
I said to my wife, I said to Amber the other, I was like, "Yo, that there's nothing that says we're getting older than when like what you wore, your stupid big baggy shorts are back in style again." You're like,
Yeah,
"Oh man,
it's so
I'm
crazy.
old. I'm old, dude."
Even like yeah, the JNCOs, like even women's clothing, like the high waisted, like their baggy pants.
The JNCO thing is like the real wide. That's why I mean, more power to you, man.
Yeah,
I don't. You could fit all of your things in your pockets, dude. You could fit your child in
yeah.
there,
You want to go to a
dude. You could
concert? You
fit,
could fit beers up there.
yeah, man. You could fit like your grandparents' encyclopedia collection. Go
Yeah,
for it, man.
yeah. Oh man, it's life is funny.
It
It's
is,
funny
man.
the lifespan that we've lived together. And it's always fun, kind of looking back to where we were and kind of where we are right now and the trajectory that we're kind of on. And it's always great to kind of see and be a part of.
Yeah, man. It's like, I mean, I can say that I'm proud of everything that you've done, and you do, and it's like super cool to see, and I love that we get to kind of like revisit and do this, every couple of years and shoot the shit on the record, and because life gets busy, we don't get to hang out or
Yeah.
do the things that we used to do, and so this is great, man. I appreciate you taking the time, dude. I really
Yeah.
do.
Well, you just had a CD, an album release party, uh,
Yeah.
at an old stomping ground, River Street Jazz Cafe in Plains. That's kind of a venue you have done that at a few times now.
Yeah,
And I saw that you had Kate open up. That's true?
that is true.
Did you pull her? How did you pull her out of retirement? What?
I mean, she slowly has been. I mean, she's one of Kate. For don't know, is a um singer songwriter with just a flute and a great songwriter. And the thing about it is that when I was young, me and Kate would do duo art and um told me a lot of the ropes. You know what I mean? Like I have a lot of these friends that some of my friends in the world, whether it be all young, all of the all like I was younger and came up and Nick Coyle and stuff like these my eyes, this was that was what I mean? Like these were people that took me under their wing. Um
You're kind of cutting out a
so
little
like
bit.
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I don't know if it just started.
Weird.
Yeah.
Tech, no. All right, well, yeah, but they took me under my wing, their wing, gave me the ropes, and so it's kind of like Kate, like you kind of like come and you know um, play in this. Stevie Nicks tribute band together. That we were using with Stevie, myself and Brett, and it's really fun. Super fun and great shows, great crowds. Um, so me and Kate are off, and I'll talk for years and then jump right back on. But I'm so glad that she's in my life and there. And yeah, she cracked, are you sure you want me to do this? And I was like, listen, if you ask me one more, you're off. But no, she killed it, man. It was a great night, and it was a great night for original music here in NAP, and or know how special it was that you missed out.
Yeah. Is it your earbuds maybe? Am I
Is
breaking
it
up when
my,
I'm talking to you?
no, not at all.
Hmm. It's weird.
So,
Still breaking up. I don't want to miss giving Kate her flowers because she deserves them.
he deserves it.
How is that now?
I can hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So yeah, I mean, just to reiterate, yeah, I mean, Kate really like when I was young, she took me under her wing. I played many gigs with her, and she kind of showed me the way. And I think I'm just like, I mean, I just like never stopped. You know what I mean? I dream about maybe like taking a break someday, and then I'm like, nah, man, there's no. Now you just can't,
Yeah.
And I don't know what that means. I don't know what a break means. I just don't. Um, a break for me these days is like 2 days off to go visit my sister in like New York City or something,
Yeah.
which is cool. Which is cool. Tomorrow night I'm going to a baseball game, and I'm off Saturday, which being off now just means like I'm going to do yard work at the house.
Dude, get a
you
house.
know,
I'm so happy for you. You got a house, but man, it's a lot of responsibility.
I played a gig earlier tonight, man, and I went to go load in my stuff, and I forgot that I had like 15 bags of mulch back there. I stopped to myself. I was like, this is a first. This is a new one.
It's the first season, man. Like in the first time you cut your grass, you're like, "Fuck yeah, this is mine." And the second time, you're like, "Fuck."
Oh yeah, too. And I got a lot of grass, man. I got a big old yard, so Amber loves taking videos of me on my tractor zipping around.
I saw one of
Listen,
those.
yeah, dude, they're out there. It's funny. Yeah, I mean, I gotta say though, it is nice to do something that is outside in the sun and that isn't, that's something totally different. Again, like it's a catch 22. I make a living from my hobby, but like I also make a living from my hobby. So like I don't really have too many other hobbies. Um,
Now it's cutting grass.
now it's like laying mulch and trimming. Yeah, dude. And of course, like here comes the competitive thing again, where I'm like, well, my lawn's got to be cooler than my neighbor's lawn,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, dude.
I'm like trying all these. Yeah, so it's fun, man. It's a new chapter, and I'm welcoming it, man. The grays in my beard are I'm proud of them.
Have you ever considered dyeing it?
Yes, of course, I have.
No, man, you gotta let it go. There's
I
a,
know.
signs of wisdom.
I will be a. I will be a one of. I will be a silver fox because
Silver fox, yeah, man.
yeah, I won't lose my hair, but like my father's quite the silver fox, so
Hell yeah. I haven't seen him in a while.
I'll look like a wizard, dude. Keep the hair long. Like it's so funny. It's like fast forward to like our podcast in 2000, 40 or whatever.
We'll do like we'll do like a montage.
Oh, that'd be so funny, dude.
That would be
I
funny.
mean, I hope. I hope we can still do this for many, many years to come, man.
Me too, man. Me too.
Yeah,
You know
dude.
what? There's one song on the record. It's called "Give It to Me Straight," and that has such a '90s vibe to it. Like I hear Collective Soul and Candlebox.
Nice.
Like that song is like I think different than anything you've done before. To me.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of that genre of music. Um, I love, I call it like, there's almost like a power pop, genre that they call it, in the vein of like the Goo Goo Dolls, or there's a huge musical that kind of genre makes up a huge um, makes up the equation, a big part of my equation musically. But again, I took some of the chances on this record because that was another one where I was like, man, do I put this on the record? And at the end of the day, it's like it all sounds like us because it's us,
Hmm.
And I'm not gonna censor myself because that's like limiting yourself is like the worst possible thing you could do.
Yeah, don't do that.
It's still, for a song like that kind of like is growing up, my love for like, I mentioned the Goo Goo Dolls. I was a huge fan, or like Oasis, or Brian Adams, like these amazing, just like chord melodic. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that song up. Nobody has brought it up yet. I don't think in this press tour,
Media
but
tour.
yeah, I dig it, man. It's cool. It's a little different. It's really fun to play live. But again, it feels natural to me because like I write songs like that all the time. I could put records out that it almost harkened back to my first solo record, like the Black Skies and Starlight thing, when I was like coming out of the Badlies. So it was like kind of like influenced by this power pop, like these big songs and these. I used to listen to all those bands back in the day. Remember that band? There was a band called 9 Days.
Dude, I actually love that band. That record with the Story of a Girl.
Story of a Girl, dude.
That whole record is really good.
I love that kind of. I mean, it's just rock and roll music. It's just like, I mean, there's like the first couple Matchbox 20 records, or, you know, I mean, this Candlebox is, killer band. Um, oh man, there's so many I could think of. There was a band that was very, they should have been. Me and my brother Eric loved this band. I saw them open for the Goo Goo Dolls at Wilkes. They were a band called Athenaeum.
Alpha Neil.
Yeah, and they flew so far under the radar, but they put out a record that was so good. I'm gonna have to I'm gonna have to give you that. I'm gonna like send you that record so you could listen to it
Yeah,
because
please do.
you'll love it because you love that kind of stuff. But man, it's like I'm influenced by a lot of stuff, man. I love that genre, and I love listening to Limp Bizkit, and you know, and my wife loves Marilyn Manson and Alice Cooper and WWE wrestling, and so like, there's just like I love. Listen, at the end of the day, man, if there's like loud guitars and it's and a killer funky drums and like I don't give a shit what genre it is, man.
Yeah.
These genre snobs. I'm over it, dude. I love it all.
Yeah.
I'll go see Brian Adams on a Monday and Limp Bizkit on a Tuesday, and I'll have as much fun at each of them.
Yeah.
Why limit yourself?
Yeah. And like don't hate on people for liking what they like.
No, not at all.
Not you per se.
Not
I'm just saying anybody.
no, no, in general. Yeah, like it's yeah, for what? And
Except I will say I think I saw you at did I see you at Primus?
yeah, we were in the same
Same
we were
row.
in the same row.
Uh I went because my buddy he bought tickets, couldn't make it, and there was like three of them. So like I was with my other two buddies. Well, Josh, you know Josh.
No, okay.
And I'm
Shout
not a
out to
huge
Josh Turner.
I'm not a huge Primus fan. Like I like the popular songs, right? So I think they played that like I think they played Puppies or whatever it was, like song two. And I'm like, okay, I'm done.
You got yours. You got yours.
I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I love that band. But man, again, like I just don't know. I mean, I don't care what people dig and what they don't. Um, and I'm a huge fan of when somebody turns me on to something that I didn't think I would like, or people would be shocked at what I listen to. You know, I wake up and I'll listen to I throw Alexa on and while I'm in the kitchen just chilling, like I'll throw on some instrumental guitar music and then I'll go see Fever 333 at night and have a blast. Um, yeah, dude. There's so much cool music out there, and I want to listen to all of it.
All
And
of it.
I want people to send me what they're listening to and what they love, and I love checking it out. And if I dig it, I mean, I'm just such a big fan of music in general. General, yeah, I play the music I play because that's like what I play, and I mean, that again, like 100%. That's just the music that comes out of me.
Yeah.
It's like blues rock, and it always has. Whether it was my first band and when I was 14 or now, unfortunately, it's gotten better. you know, but it's yeah, dude. I love music. I love the whole thing. I still love seeing tour buses stacked on the side of the arena. Like I'm like a 12-year-old kid. I love when the house lights go down. I love, the fantasy world for me is just like, and the fact that I kind of get to live it now. So
Yeah.
that's success, I think, John.
Yeah.
Right? Full
Uh,
circle.
And what's next for the band?
We got a bunch of shows, man. We got a lot of shows coming up. Just DustinDouglasMusic.com is the best place to um, see where we're headed next, and stuff's getting added every week, so that's really cool. um,
So you're opening up for Hinder at the Ritz Theater in Scranton
yeah, we have I think that's coming up July 11th. I'm not sure when this will air, but like July 11th.
this Friday, actually. So the
Oh, okay.
fourth. Well, shoot, this what's the Fourth of July? Maybe I should rethink that. Oh man. Huh. We'll see. I'll think about it. If not this Friday, next Friday.
Listen, it's all good, but regardless, yeah, July 11th. We have Music Fest coming up. We got some regional stuff, and then we're headed back down, Indianapolis, Kentucky. And there's, stay tuned. There's a lot more big things coming. Just, yeah, man, I just like everything counts these days, just liking the YouTube page or following. Like, I hate saying it, but it's like, it's so important for any band that you like, or, follow them, sign up for their, buy their merch, sign up for their, a lot of bands, like the only money they're making is from their merchandise.
Right.
And a lot of, it's, but yeah, it's just like you can hop on, sign up for our newsletter on the website, which is a good way to kind of stay tuned and get some, you know, news first kind of stuff.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
not
man.
only yeah, not only are you guys like just, pro musicians, like everything you're all buttoned up everywhere, your online presence and all that stuff.
Yeah, we have we're
Video
fortunate
production,
to,
we didn't talk about that. You got some great videos for these new batch of songs.
yeah, the videos are really cool. I mean, they almost seem so far away now because like we released Damage is the first single like so many months ago, it feels like. So, but yeah, and then we're there's some some other videos that may pop up in the future. There's a lot of fun stuff. It's you this the release of the record is definitely just the beginning of
Yeah,
what's about to come. So
I'm looking forward to it.
yeah, dude, me too.
I'm looking forward to our every 2 year conversation. So you gotta
Yeah,
keep on pace.
We'll be grayer. We'll be grayer and more tired and miserable.
Gray for sure. You can't see my gray in this video, but like
No,
it's
me
definitely,
neither. Mine actually looks really dark.
yeah. So we'll just live on here from now on.
Maybe let's edit everything we said about gray hairs out.
Yeah, they don't exist. We're good.
Well, thank you, John.
Yes, thank you, man. I was always love talking to you, and I'm
Yeah,
so
dude.
proud
I
of you
wish you the
guys, and
best.
and excited for the future of Dustin Douglas and the Electric Gentleman.
Thank you, brother. Thank you
Brother,
for
take
having
care.
me. Till we meet again.
See ya.